Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, wherever you are in this part of the world. Welcome to Fulfillionaires File, the show where we explore the stories, mindsets, and missions of people who create wealth with purpose and fulfillment. I'm your host, Victoria Ferrer, personal power and public presence coach for decades. I've worked with leaders, families, educators, and change makers who are ready to step into their voice, their influence, and of course, their legacy. Because success means very little if it isn't shared and sustained. And today, I'm excited for this one. Our guest brings together education, inclusion, family connection, and artificial intelligence in a way that is refreshing, human centered, and deeply inspiring. Suzanne Feit has spent more than 35 years working globally at the intersection of education and technology, supporting educators and families through tools like IntelliTools, Kurzweil, and Cambium Learning, and even founding a technology resource center dedicated to empowering learners of all abilities. And she's also the author of a remarkable new book, Family Adventures from A to Z Using ChatGPT, a creative, interactive guide that helps families explore AI together through play, teamwork, storytelling, and discovery. Suzanne,
Thank you.
thank you and welcome to Fulfill Your Nurse File. It's truly a joy to have you here.
Well, thank you very much. It's fun to be here. It's fun
Yes, and I'm
to
sure that everybody will be learning a lot from you. And that's why I asked you, Suzanne, do you have time for an interview? And of course, Suzanne said yes, because she
of
wants to
course.
reach out to as many as possible to educate them. Suzanne, you've spent over 35 years working globally at the intersection of education and technology. And looking back, what first sparked your passion for using technology to transform learning, especially for students who learn differently?
Well, I went to New York University. I graduated with a degree in early childhood education, and I took programming classes there. The computer was bigger than this entire room, but through the programming, I learned to take things systematically, that to keep trying, that failure isn't the end, and to really keep on focus. And so I got my degree. I started teaching in the South Bronx. And many of those students had no literacy skills at all, none whatsoever. And
Wow.
all I had was paper and pencil, which was just not a very well, you just can't do anything with just paper and pencil. And so I went back for a degree in special education because I wanted to help people be more independent. And I started to learn about all these different technologies. Technology, instead of just using a typewriter and, all these things, it just, there were so many possibilities. And I remember those students in the South Bronx. And then as I started to work with more students and start my technology resource center, all I kept seeing is that, with the right tool, we could make a difference. With the right
Wow.
tool, we're able to just empower people. Apple came in and was doing an interview at my resource center was in the rehab unit of a hospital.
Mm-hmm.
And I worked with people who had stroke and traumatic brain injury. And so they came in and interviewed one of the people I was helping with computers. And actually, she was so sharp, she was helping other people who had stroke. But that's what I was all about. That was what, helping people help other people. And what Apple said is that, these computers can help ordinary people do extraordinary things, and extraordinary people do ordinary things.
Wow.
And I saw that repeated over and over and over again. So that's kind of where I come from. Is there just one? No, there's, I think I've
Oh,
been put here to actually try to make a difference and try to support as many people as possible.
That's amazing, Suzanne. Was there a particular student or classroom moment that stayed with you?
Well, again, I have to go back to my own experience. I got my degree in special education, and then I had a son with Down syndrome. So
Oh,
then we start on the road of, is there one student? Is there a whole group of students? Are these students, they have a diagnosis? Do they have a prognosis? I don't think the diagnosis is the prognosis, but that's kind of where it was. And I didn't buy into that. So it wasn't one student. It was being able to look at these guys who had delayed language, had delayed development, but what it was, what tools, what things are available to help each one do something that they couldn't otherwise do. And so that was just a huge opportunity. And once we started with this early intervention and learning about all these tools, I networked with a group of ladies in Orange County. We started a parent support group called Parents Regional Outreach for Understanding Downs. Because we want, again, it's always about helping other people. It's always about finding tools that make a difference. And then I step back and say, you do it. You got it. And so that's that little, that one thing where it's suddenly they can pick up a ball. They can look at a word. My son learned speech and language when he learned to read. Why is that? Because he was a visual learner. So he had to see the language pattern. And so I see that, I observe that, and I see it repeated over and over again. And that's kind of where I'm coming from in terms of the using the technology, using the tool to support the learner.
wow. You've supported educators and families through tools like IntelliTools, Kurzweil, and Cambium Learning, and even founded a technology resource center. And from your experience, how can technology become a bridge to independence and confidence rather than a barrier for learners with disabilities?
Well, when I had the resource center, I was working with teachers, and the teachers would come in and say, she just doesn't want to work. She just doesn't,
Yeah.
no, she doesn't respond. I said, well, she can't speak. What are you doing for it? She goes, well, I can read her mind. I said, oh my goodness.
Yeah,
I don't
oh
want to read
God.
her mind. We got hooked up with a communication device, and little Heather was starting to type and putting words together and language. And then we have another one who comes in, and she can't hold a pencil, but boy, that kid had lots to say and a lot of neat stories and things. And she was able to use the computer. So
Wow.
IntelliTools, when I started the center, it was pretty magical because we had support from hardware and software developers around the world. It was a nationwide network of resource centers. So Apple and IBM and IntelliTools and other software and hardware developers helped me. They gave me the whole playground.
Wow.
And I
Wow.
got to work with the teachers and people in my area, which was kind of a win-win. And but with IntelliTools, for that little gal who couldn't hold a pencil, she couldn't even really touch the keyboard. So there was an
Hmm.
alternative keyboard. And I've trained all over the world. That was called an IntelliKeys. And we found not only could it have letters, but it could have pictures. Remember, my son learned speech and language when he learned to read. He had to
Yeah.
see the word and see the picture and put it together. So that combination, and so that was IntelliTools. They had access. Not only that, they all of a sudden they were talking word processors. There
Oh.
were ways for students to enter information other than the keyboard. We could bring in graphics because they need to get the picture. So all of that was the IntelliTools world. And then IntelliTools was acquired by Cambium
Mhm.
and Kurzweil, which later became Cambium. And the neat thing about that is that took a whole different population. That took the students who were dyslexic. What does that mean? That just means they
Yeah.
learn differently. So what do we have to provide? A different way to educate them. So they were able to have their texts and all their information put into the computer, and it could be read out loud. It could take it down to a level they could comprehend. Maybe they're in seventh grade and they can only comprehend third grade. Well, they can bring it down to a level they can process it. So that was pretty powerful. And there were outlining tools, note-taking tools, wonderful, wonderful tools that all of a sudden were, well, they started with these companies at my center, and I was working with that. And then all of these features, these wonderful features, started to become the mainstream. They became Microsoft Word. They became
Oh.
Microsoft Office. They
Mhm.
became, so all of those wonderful little isolated tools came together. Now it's exciting because it came together for my kids, for my audience, whether they're teachers, therapists, or otherwise. But it also
Definitely.
is exciting that they kind of dovetailed on each other. So IntelliTools was acquired by another company, AbleNet, but all of these tools are just so powerful because people learn so differently, whether you're
That's so
visual,
true.
auditory, kinesthetic, all of the above. These are the tools that can make a difference.
Oh. So, what does thoughtful and ethical use of AI look like in education?
You bring up a really thing, something I'm really excited about these days. And I hear this a lot. So first of all, when I talked about all these tools and I talked about, bringing graphics, changing the text, changing the level, I
Mhm.
retired several years ago and I was done. But then I discovered ChatGPT. And
Mhm.
ChatGPT is the one tool I found that contains a lot of these things I've been working on for so many years with a whole bunch of different products. I had to learn all these products. This is one tool, and it's free and it's
Yeah.
accessible. And it can be on your computer, it can be on your phone, it can be on your iPad, all of the above. So what's AI doing? AI is helping those ordinary people do extraordinary things.
Yeah.
AI is making a difference and helping make things more accessible. And I wrote the book because from A to Z, for
Mhm.
families and everyone, there's so many possibilities, so many wonderful tools that are out there. And we have to, we have to embrace it. When I first started, Apple was putting computers in classrooms, and teachers were saying, no, 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 no. If you give them a computer, they'll never learn to write. Well, these are kids that it's graphic. They can't say that to them. So more and more of these features came in. And then when as the industry developed and more technology came in, it just seems like if we don't embrace it, I mean, I was teaching classes at the University of Cal State Northridge, and I'd say to the students there, because it was alternative access to technology, I'd say, I want you to write this report, attach it to an email, and send it to me. And these teachers would say, I don't know how to do that. And I'd go, well, find a teenager. But there's a hidden message in that. So what's happening now? What I'm seeing in the schools and what I'm seeing in a lot of discussion of what is AI going to do? How is it going to destroy my children's brain? How is it going to, change the way they think? How is it going to compromise their learning style? And I look at that and I said, wait a minute, guys. You know, you as an adult, if you've ever had a
Mhm.
child, when the child turns 16, do you give them the keys to the car and say, go drive? You wouldn't even think to do that. Well, why would you give them the AI or ChatGPT or anything without a structure, without a
Yeah.
game plan, without
Yeah.
an idea of what you want to do with it? And so I've actually been looking a lot in different places where they're actually integrating AI into schools. They're integrating actually as part of the curriculum, which is kind of interesting. So, what does that mean? That means I'm
Mhm.
going to teach students what this AI is. And then I'm going to teach them how to use it. And when they teach how to use it, the teachers create sentences with AI and with, having the students write, and they have the students look at it and say, what's the difference here? Which one do you think and why and how are they different? And I had an interesting experience with that. I have a grandson who wanted to write an essay to go to an international baccalaureate program in Spain. And he wrote the essay and I was in charge of helping him before he sends it out. This is to go into 11th grade.
Mhm.
And I said, did you use ChatGPT? This was last year. And he said, no. I said, why? He goes, we're not allowed to use that. I said, oh,
Oh.
interesting. So I said, we're going to put this into ChatGPT. And then we're going to say, ChatGPT, make this into 11th grade. And so we have the original and the 11th grade. And I said, what's the difference between the two? Well, that one's got more words. Yeah. What else? Oh, it's got more sentences. Yeah. What else? Those sentences are longer. So what's the difference here? The difference is a model, a
Yes.
chance to look. If you say to your students, I don't want you to use this until you become proficient in language and literacy, you're missing the boat because what you really want to do is give them the model and you want them to be able to see it. You want them to see the difference. Oh, and I worked for years with him with vocabulary thesaurus and all that. Well, look at all these bigger words. Are they new to you? No. I remember when when he first got the spell checker built into his little notebook, and suddenly he could spell.
Mm,
But so yeah, so you look at these tools and you look at their application and you look at their integration. You say, wait a minute, guys, this is a very powerful tool.
it is.
So I can teach you what it is. I can teach you what it's made out of and all the details of what's been put into it and all the encyclopedias and dictionaries and everything that were in the back of the room in my house that really got looked at. It's all accessible. It's all available. And why not be able to take that information, be able to analyze it, be able to read it at any level, and then be able to, go further. And that's why when they say, oh, what's AI going to do to education? I think
A
if we
lot.
don't look, if we don't
It's
allow that,
endless.
right? But I see,
Limitless.
I've heard it and seen it places where teachers are allowed to use AI. They use it for writing reports. They use it for lessons, generating lessons. They don't want students to use it. Well, you can't teach them how to use a tool if you don't give them the tool.
Right. There you go.
It makes you look great. Teachers say, it makes me look real. Well, it does make you look great. But think about the model that you're giving for the students and how far away is that from reality? So
True.
I think for me, AI is it's like, oh, please don't say it's going to ruin my children, because we
Yeah.
use it everywhere. It's all around. And why wouldn't we teach the best and powerful tools that are available?
There
Why
you
would we
go.
do it?
There you go. There
I
you
don't,
go, Suzanne.
it is beyond me. So,
I agree. And so, as both a professional and a parent, your journey with your son David has clearly shaped your mission. How has raising a child with Down syndrome influenced the way you view learning, curiosity, and lifelong discovery?
yeah, that's a really, you've got about 3 hours for this one. No, no, it's interesting. Down syndrome, when that child is first given to you and they go, oh, this is Down syndrome. And all you hear is, don't you know, he won't, he can't, he'll never. And I said, where's that written? Is there a paper that has that? Do you have a
Mm,
crystal ball? It's like, don't tell me he won't, he can't, he'll never. He's just a cute little
exactly.
baby.
True.
And it was just so interesting to do all the research and look for all the options. Because that changed my whole life. I found that he wasn't crawling well. Well, I did research and found you had to give him an incline and give him a little help with gravity. So all of the tools, all of the resources have really molded where I'm coming from with David. And now I look at him and he spends all his time on his iPhone and his iPad. And he's 47 years old and he's looking at movies and
Oh,
sports and wrestling and
learning a lot.
all the things. Yeah. And
Yes.
he's the one we're watching the award show and what's that actress's name? Well, that's so and so, and he was married to, and then she got,
He
so
knows.
he knows all. Yeah,
Oh,
Pursuit. He is our go-to person.
it's amazing. It's
But yeah, but
amazing.
it's fascinating to me to see how he learns. He
Exactly.
sits down, he takes notes on what he's seen on the computer and storylines. And well, that comes from watching Jerry Springer. He's just, there's just no limit. And why would you
Mm,
limit him? But he's just he learns visually. He has to process it, he has to hear it, and then he owns it.
he's
So,
amazing. He's
and what I
amazing.
found, which is interesting, is recently I found that trisomy 21, Down syndrome. Okay, that
Mhm.
David is Down syndrome. He has trisomy 21. He has three of the 21st chromosome. Well, according to Chat and all of the neurologists that I've been exposed to lately, the 21st chromosome holds the amyloid for Alzheimer's, which means
Oh.
that rather than all of us who may have two of the 21st chromosome, he's got three. So the
Oh.
likelihood of developing Alzheimer's is very much statistically. But
Mhm.
again, who reads the statistics? You go day by day, do what you
Mm.
can. But what I got from ChatGPT and AI is, okay, what are these things we need to do? Well, there's diet, there's
Mm.
exercise, there's socialization, and so looking at anyone with dementia or looking with anyone with any kind of thing, I go to the AI and say, okay, what are the next steps? We have to work on balance. So I find this AI is
Very useful.
it is
It
useful,
is.
and
It's
not
our
that
partner.
I sound like I live and breathe it. I don't. But my goal is to educate people
Yeah.
and then step back and say, you are empowered. Now you can do it.
Yes, exactly,
And that's
exactly,
that's the
Suzanne.
goal of the classes I want to teach, the lessons I want to give, the people I want to work with, because there's such a fear.
There is, sometimes, oh, I don't want to use AI. It might destroy my life. But unless you get into it, you'll never know. You're getting to something unknown, and then you discover that, oh my God, it's a lot of I'm using ChatGPT and it's really helping me. It's my companion. It's like 24/7 I ask ChatGPT for anything and they would, but I wish more people knew about it, Suzanne. And this is why I was so enthusiastic about
Yeah.
contacting you and say, hey, Suzanne, can you come to my program because we want to educate people. So your book, Family Adventures from A to Z using ChatGPT invites families to explore AI together in creative and meaningful ways. What do you hope families gain, not just in skills, but in connection when they use AI as a shared learning tool?
Well, what I hope they realize is that it's all ages. When I wrote the book, ChatGPT did all the graphics because I wanted them ethnically diverse. I wanted
Mhm.
different ages, and I wanted people with Down syndrome. So what do I hope they see? I hope they see themselves. And then when they go inside of it, asking it for anecdotes from our seniors. I see creative Mad Libs. If you're trying to work on nouns and verbs or adjectives or anything that comes home from homework can be helped. And then it's like, my goodness, I want to have this family dinner on Easter. Why don't we have everyone bring something that begins with the letter E?
Uh-huh.
And why don't we have them start to create stories about eggs? And why don't we? So it's like it's a fun time to kind of plan. It's a fun time to kind of think about it. Oh, let's have noodle night and let's have a
Mhm.
movie that's well, what could we oh, wasn't there a movie about some rat who's cooking piss pie or Lady and the Tramp with so we can bring in some fun kinds of things. And then there's also the book has asking questions like Trivial Pursuit, Family
Mhm.
Feud. David and I had some time the other day waiting for something, and I pulled up Chat and I said, okay, give him questions on Grease the movie because he just loves Grease. And he went through all of the answers. I said, all right, how about Friends? Because he loves, but he knows
Yeah.
but it was just kind of fun. So you're in the car and the movie's not playing or everyone's having a little bit of a tired and you go, okay, let's pull up, let's ask some funny quizzes, let's ask some funny riddles. So again, families can have fun with it. Oh, we
Oh
want to
yeah.
go away, we want to go to Las Vegas. Well, we have 12-year-olds to 75-year-olds. What can we do for everybody? Well, you can hike, you can do this, you can do that. And so for travel planning, it's phenomenal. For going to we I'm going to go to Santa Monica and I want an hour walk and then I want a nice restaurant. It'll give it to you.
Wow.
I want to go, up to the Santa Monica Mountains and do a trail. It'll give it to you.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
It's
I
phenomenal.
hope they'll see some fun things.
There you
On,
go.
on my website, there's a video that shows different families and people using AI, whether it's cooking or out biking or, whatever
Hmm.
they're doing, it's fun time. It's family time.
There you go.
Another
So,
fun one. You have time
yeah.
for another fun one?
Yeah. Wow.
Okay. Well, I've talked to people lately and they say, I read I like to tell stories to my kids before bed. I said,
Hmm.
that's great. How do you do it? Well, I've discovered ChatGPT because then I can bring them in as a character and then we can have, we can go to outer space or we could go with the
Mm.
dinosaurs or we could do, all these different things. And I go, well, that must be really fun. Yeah, we've had some really creative, fun stories. What's nice is it also remembers them so they can go back and revisit them. And then he goes, but then my daughter likes to draw or color. So he says, I wanted Chat to create a graphic. They created a coloring book page. They created a fill in the blank. They created all kinds of other things. And then I said, now, do you ever get it to print it out and use it as literacy? I didn't think about that. So I said, take this story, make sure it's at third grade level, fourth grade level, or expand it to make it that level and use it as a reading activity. So you take one little family thing, telling bedtime stories, and all of a
Yeah.
sudden it becomes a really cooperative and connected special time. And
Yeah.
so that's the kind of stuff I want parents to get out of it. I
Hmm.
want them to really think about, oh, doesn't have to be grueling. It doesn't have to only happen at home.
Yeah.
But if you've got a fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth grader who comes home with those math problems and you can't figure it out, one of the things in my book talks about Tutor Me from Khan Academy. You can literally put any problem into it, and it won't give you the answer, but it'll tell you step by step what
Yeah.
operation you think you ought to do and what you're looking for and how do we break it down. So it actually, they come home, kids come home and they say, I can't remember what the teacher said. And
Mm.
you go, I don't know that stuff. Well, you don't have to worry because you've
Mr.
got.
Chat GPT is there at our service 24/7.
And the other thing it does is if I have a problem, I have a new computer and I can't remember the menu to build a table of contents or do something, I say, take a picture of it. And I say to chat, where is that menu? She tells me.
Again. Wow. That's amazing, amazing. What will life be without Chat GPT?
Oh, I think we'll do just fine, but I think that it really can and can make a difference,
Yeah, it
can
can.
help our students. And it's really a shame if we don't embrace it. If
That's
we say, oh, the water or I mean, that's a whole nother discussion. But every time you turn on your computer or get in your car or there's street lights in it, anything that's around, the doors open, all of it is artificial intelligence in way,
right.
shape, or form.
Right.
So, I think we really have to think about um, what a powerful tool it can be, and know that there are parameters. We
Yeah.
don't want to infringe on licenses. We don't want to take away, the literature and the graphics and things that artists, and I understand that totally, but we have to have regulations. We have to
Mm-hmm.
have discernment. And I
Mm-hmm.
think the big key in bringing AI into our world is discernment.
There you go. There
Think
you go.
about,
Yeah,
think about,
I agree.
it's what do you want to do and how do you want to do it? And really figure out, because chat has no morals, chat has no ethics.
No, it's
But
up
why
to
don't you
us.
admit that? Hmm?
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
up to us. Yeah, to be able to determine what's right and what's wrong.
exactly. And that chat will not take that away.
No.
But you have to teach people that. You
Yeah.
can't just give them the keys and say, oh, go out and get a carton of
Go
milk.
and yeah, go and drive. Yeah, for example. So yeah, it's all about our guidance and our being able to really understand the right direction to go to. Your book is now reaching families through Amazon. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank
So
you.
What kind of feedback or reviews have touched you most? And what would you love future readers to know before they begin their own family adventures from A to Z?
Well, I think I want them to know that it's not all about the workplace where you may be using it, and it's not all about families. It's all about life. It's all
Yeah,
about connecting. I want them to know that. I want to see that, aha, I want to see that they realize they can do it, that they have a level of confidence. I've had too many people say I'm too old. Well, you're
yeah.
not going to be as old as
Well,
me, so
no. No.
so it's not that you're too old. I want them to feel like they can embrace it and not fear it. My goal is to turn AI anxiety into AI partnership. I
Mhm.
want
I
to
like
build,
that.
so I want them to create the memories together.
Right.
I want them to think about, how they're putting together. And there's lots of ideas that are just fun for seniors to be with their grandchildren, and for, millennials and Gen Zs to, have family feud and discuss different questions, and think about, what was it like, and how much has changed. And so I think I want them to start to listen to each other. I want them to see this as a fun way to connect.
Right.
And I think for families, it's just so important for that next generation.
Right.
Don't
Right.
get left behind as a senior, but don't
Yes.
don't enable an elementary school child to be left behind, because the difference is they're going to be exposed to it. The difference is there will be inequities. But why? Why in Finland and Estonia and China, different places, they're bringing this into the curriculum. And in California and out US, not so much.
Mhm.
We're banning books and they're embracing technology. And so we really have to think about, you know, enabling people to make their own choices, empowering
True.
people to be as independent as they can be.
True.
And I think
I.
that's one of the takeaways of the book. It's written with fun. It's written um, simple to understand. And because I'm an educator, I'm going to teach you how to install it, how to
Right.
use it. And
Yeah.
in the book, the basis of ChatGPT is prompts, learning how to ask questions. So you
Yes.
talked
The
about
prompts. Yeah.
reviews. There was a journalism major who said, this book is a year of journalism. It's all about asking questions. Once I learned how to ask the right questions, and once I learned how to put that together, it's like, oh my goodness, I had no idea.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
looking at the reviews and saying, oh, gee, I can do this myself. Or I had no
Right.
idea I would be able to do that. So those aha moments from the reviews
Mhm.
are great fun. Even my buddy who said, you can't get me to use technology. This is not for me. I use my computer on my phone 2 hours a week, and you want me to review your book and look at this tool, whatever you call it, and report back at the end of the summer. I said, yeah, I'd like you to do that. The end of the
Yeah.
summer, he goes, you have no idea what you've done. He said, I use it every single day. I'm planning
Wow.
my trips. I'm planning my routes. He said, I drove back from Maine to Arizona, and my GPS on my phone was, getting me into major traffic jams. I said, ChatGPT, give me a better route. Get off
Yeah.
here, make a right, make a left.
All
So
the direction, all the details.
the reviews have been fun because it
Yeah.
really shows it's like you don't know what you don't know. And,
Right.
this is fun to really enjoy the road, enjoy the
Yeah.
process.
There you go.
So
So, Suzanne, this has been such a powerful reminder that technology, when guided by heart, wisdom, and intention, can actually bring families closer, not farther apart. Thank you for the work you do
thank
and for the
you.
hope you give to parents and educators navigating this new world of AI with curiosity instead of fear. For those watching or listening today, if you believe learning should be joyful, inclusive, and shared across generations, Suzanne's book, Family Adventures from A to Z Using ChatGPT, is available now on Amazon. Suzanne, where can people learn more about you and your work?
I have a website and I tried to keep it easy. So it's ChatAndSuzanne.com. That's the website. Lots of supported information, even some nice quick, I could sell that on Amazon, on Facebook. Oh, I could take a picture and see about my tree and what.
Mm-hmm.
So there's some nice ideas there. We call it the idea exchange. So that's on my website, ChatAndSuzanne.com. And so the website and the Gmail, I'd love to talk to you. I'd love to connect with you and learn more how we can really support our learners.
Amazing.
Not give it to them, support them. And you know
Support them.
what? If you have it on your phone and you have it on your computer, and as Victoria said, she talks into it. When she's talking into it in the car, she gets home, it's on her computer. And
Yes.
she can remember it. So not that anyone has problems remembering things, but oh my gosh, it's so nice to have an external memory
Yeah,
that's always
exactly.
available.
There you go. So, to our Fulfillionaires community, remember, true wealth isn't just what we earn, it's what we pass on, our values, our curiosity, our courage to keep learning together. I'm Victoria Ferrer, personal power and public presence coach, and this has been another
Thank you.
episode of Fulfillionaires File. Until next time, stay curious, stay courageous, and keep building a life that fulfills you. Thank you again, Suzanne, for
Thank
this
you.
wonderful meetup. And until the next time, all the best to you.
Thank you.
Viewers, you know how to contact Suzanne, and I'll be also posting it on my write up.
Thank you so
Thank
much for this
you.
opportunity and your
Most
energy. Thank you.
welcome. Thank
Bye
you,
now.
and take care. Take
Thanks.
care.